Hi, my name is Philippe Mercier, and I'm the CEO of Wordscope, an AI-powered CAT tool. Today, I would like to show you how you can customize DeepL or any other MT engine and ChatGPT to match your client preferences. And this is very important, as some people talk about AI as if a single tool could translate everything, overlooking nuances, terminology, and client preference. AI is changing the way we work. Some translators love AI and some do not want to use it. So I was wondering why. And what if the real issue isn't AI itself, but how it's being deployed to support linguists? As you know, many CAT tools limit translator to a single empty engine, and that's a major problem. And the same happens with AI tools such as ChatGPT if they are not properly integrated. So why do some translators reject MTP project? First, as I said, one engine may not be the right one for every kind of text. Second, the engine may not respect the client terminology or typographic preferences. Third, AI, if it is not properly integrated, you may need to do a lot of copy paste, a lot of correction, and then translators are reduced to fixing machine generated draft, which is very frustrating, obviously. So let me show you how you can use AI to your advantage. We'll do in 4 steps. The first step I will show you, it is super easy to use. You don't need to learn complex software. Your first project will be ready in just 3 clicks. Then you will get suggestions from multiple MT engines. Big advantage. You can tell MT Engine and ChatGPT to respect your client terminology, and you can customize MT suggestion to match typographic or any other client preference. So let's start first step, speed and simplicity. We'll see that you don't need to install any software. In just 3 clicks, you can have your first project ready with AI assistant. So Wordscope works from any browser. On Mac PC, you can use Firefox, Opera, Safari, Google Chrome, the one you prefer. Just open your browser and type https pro.wordscope.com and you will have access to the CAT tool. So here we'll see that we can create a project very quickly. So we give it a project name. You don't need to fill plenty of checkbox or information. So we choose the from language, French in this case, the target language, English, and then you can just drag and drop the file you want to translate on the desktop. It can be a Word file, PowerPoint, Excel, as many files as you want. When you are ready, you just click the Analyze button, and the system will estimate the time needed to complete the project so you can prepare a code for your customer. So it will be a bit more than an hour in this case. When everything is ready, you just click on the button Translate and Open Job, and your project is ready to start. Now you will see that, as I said, using one MT engine is not the best solution. With Wordscope, you will get suggestions from multiple machine translations. So you will be able to compare, to find a better way to say something, and that will also help you to maintain a high level of concentration throughout the process. Let's see how that works. As you can see, for each segment, we receive several suggestions. This is from the first MT engine. Then we have DeepL Pro. And as you can see, we are using a traction system where we highlight the difference in green and red. So obviously you don't have to read everything. What I want to show you is that you can quickly see what might be a better way to say something. If you like a translation, you can just double click on it and then it will be copied into the edit area here. And then you still have the possibility to change it, of course, because you stay in control. These are just suggestions to help you during the project. So let's say that we want to change this into something else, we can just do it. And as you will see, the track change adapt so you can further check. So again, here we have several suggestions. We see that there is level accepted added by DeepL, that might be a good idea. So we can just keep the existing translation or double click again to select that suggestion and then go to the next segment. Here we see again very quickly that this engine saying it is not controlled, and this one suggests is left uncontrolled, a reverse way of saying the same thing, or is now or is today. So you see, what we want to highlight is that there may be a better word or more elegant way to do or to say something. And that's the advantage of having multiple engines. As I say, it also keeps your concentration high, because otherwise you could end up doing next if one single engine is there, and then the quality of your translation will seriously suffer. So very important, and you can progress like that in your document. But maybe these engines do not know your client terminology. So what can we do? We see that we can customize DeepL and ChatGPT simply by creating private glossary entries. So let's see how that works in practice. We'll take an example in this document. Okay, we have this acronym that is not translated by any other engine. Obviously, in this case, this is an error, and acronyms are nearly never translated by MT engine because they can be many different things. So if your text contains a lot of such acronyms, you may end up of spending your time correcting and correcting over and over again the same thing. So what we want to do here, we want to tell DeepL and ChatGPT once forever that the translation of that MBAC acronym is this or that. So to do that, let's say that the translation is ABPM, for example. Then we go in the settings and we are going to create a private glossary. You see, you can do that during a project or before a project, is really up to you. We give it a name. So we say that's a glossary for client A. That's very important because maybe for another client, we'll use another glossary, of course. And we can close that. There, here you have the glossary tab, and we will just create an entry. So we can select the source term, impact, which is mesure de la pression artérielle en clinique, and I translate that ABPM, which is arterial blood pressure measurement, and I can ambulatory, sorry, blood pressure measurement. Oh, I see I made an error. It should be office blood pressure measurement. But anyway, whatever you just saw, what is the translation of this acronym? Then, very important thing also, we will drag and drop DeepL in the first position to tell that is the first translation I want to see in the suggestion panel. And as you can see now, DeepL is using the glossary entry that we have just created. It doesn't work yet for other engine. We soon hope to adapt it to other engine, but currently we can only do that with DeepL and ChatGPT. So now you don't have to correct that anymore. So if we find another segment with that term, it's a bit below here. Okay, not that one, that one. Okay, you see it was not translated, it was MPAC and not in the translated version. And let's see now, DeepL automatically now adapted to the glossary entry. So you see, you do it once and it's done. And you can do that for all things. Here we see that when the term is underlining green, it means it's a private glossary entry. When it's yellow, it means it's a public glossary entry, and we have also blue, which is for Spanish medical translator for cost notas dictionaries. So we can continue like that, and all the time the system will use ABPM because it is as a glossary entry. Now let's see if we can do the same with ChatGPT. So we still have that entry, and let's go up to find again the same segment. Where is it? Okay, this is the one. All right. So what I will do to show you how ChatGPT works, I will just make an error in this segment. So let's say that I use a wrong translation for this acronym. Oh, by the way, you see that it suddenly appears in red. It is because Wordscope has detected that this is a private glossary entry and that the proper translation is not in the target segment. But let's forget that and let's see what ChatGPT can do. So we just click here to open the ChatGPT window, and we will ask ChatGPT to proofread this translation and see what it says. So we click the proofread button. And as you can see, we get the information right here. So it translated using the proper translation from the glossary, and it's telling me I use ABPM instead of MPAC to match the preferred glossary term. So as you can see, you didn't have to type a long prompt or do a copy paste of your terminology. Because you have created a terminology entry, Wordscope automatically communicate that information from that segment to ChatGPT. Not the whole glossary, just the needed information. So if we, you can also correct that by clicking the right button, by the way. So that's another way of when there is a problem with the terminology entry. We can do one more check with ChatGPT, which is interesting. Let's say again that I'm using a wrong translation for this glossary entry and that I also do a typo. So I type 5 instead of 3. And if I ask ChatGPT to proofread, it will check the glossary. It will check also if it is a faithful translation. So here, what do you see? Okay, I corrected the term according to the glossary, and the sentence was incorrectly translated. It should be 3 different ways as per the source sentence. So you see, it can detect many different things. Again, I'm not typing any prompt. I'm not doing any copy paste. It's all built in word code. So that's very important. Just creating glossary entry, you can customize the output of DeepL or ChatGPT. Now, if we go back here, let's say that you're working for another client. So I'm removing this my client A glossary and I'm creating a my client B glossary because you can be translating the same type of text and maybe client A want this translation, maybe client B wants something else. So let's try to say that for this glossary entry, we'll now create for client B. Let's say that client B doesn't want acronym in the translation, so we'll just type the full translation here of this term, ambulatory blood pressure measurement. And we can type some note saying the client doesn't want acronyms or whatever you like. Save that. And now just refresh the page as this is a new project. And now what do we see is that as expected now, DeepL is using glossary B, so it's translating ambulatory blood pressure measurement. It's not using the acronym anymore. And you see, so that's very important. It means you can have a private DeepL for each of your clients. And the same with ChatGPT. If we open ChatGPT, you see here again, DeepL is checking, but if we do an error like we did for the first project, let's make this to wrong acronym, for example, and ask ChatGPT to proofread that again, you will see that ChatGPT is now saying that it should be something else. So you have a private DeepL, a private ChatGPT for each of your clients simply by switching glossary. Very important and very powerful. See, according to the glossary, you always get the explanation. Same happen with all the functions. So if I have to translate, it will use the glossary again, as you can see. So I can say, okay, this is the one I need. It's better than empty suggestion. Then use the copy button to copy it to the edit area, and you get all the extra information with the translation. Impressive, isn't it? So, can you do more? Can we do more? Yes, we can do more, actually. Let's see how we can use the customization module to adapt suggestion, all empty suggestion this time, to some client-specific requirement. Formatting date, number, currency convention, typographic rules, or any other change that you may want to do in the translation. To do that, we can just go to the settings again. This is the little wheel there. Let's see first if we can find, yeah, we'll be using this part of the text which contain numbers, currencies, and all kinds of things that we may want to change. We'll see that in a second. So open the settings, customization, and here, as you can see, you can reformat numbers, currencies, date, time, delimiters, and apply regex expression, which will allow you to change absolutely everything you want. So you can decide to apply that to TM or MT suggestion. And then for every tool here, you can try test sentence. So in this case, for example, to reformat number, you see those numbers are wrongly formatted. And we may want to use the dot as thousand separator, for example, and the comma is decimal. And we can test to apply this rule to the test sentence, and then you can see that the system will adapt the formatting. So you can test it before using it in your project. So if you don't want to use that rule, just unclick this. Let's say, for example, currency value. You can say, for example, that, okay, what do we see here? That the dollar sign is before numbers for all empty. Let's see if we can change that if for some reason your client wants something else. So let's say that we want to have the symbol after, we want to have a non-breaking space. We can test it, and if we apply it to, as you can see now, the dollar sign is with a non-breaking space after in all empty suggestion. So you do it once, and so it's very important. For example, if you do a financial report, you don't want to modify thousand and number. What else can we do? We can change date, times, delimiters, for example, very important. Let's say you have single quotes, double quotes, or a mix of everything, and that you may want, for example, French quotes in all the suggestion. You can just select that, test, oh, I forgot to activate the on MT or TM, we test it. You can see that it is now applied to all the things. Regex replace, that's the most complex but most powerful tool. So, for example, here, uh, let's say that your customer doesn't want the currency sign and he wants the number to be USD 1000, for example. We can use a regex expression. You can search for that on the internet. It's quite complex. It's like an Excel formula. We can say, for example, search for any dollar sign followed by a number and replace by USD followed by that same number. If we test it, dollar 1000 will become USD 1000. We apply that to empty suggestion. Just check. Now every empty suggestion is using that formula. So you see, you can really customize to do whatever you want, change what you want, format, insert a space between the end of sentence, exclamation mark, suppress a space if there is one that you don't want. All kind of change you can decide to apply then with expression. We were talking about delimiters. Let's insert space, look at this, and we see that it was applied to DeepL, but not to this suggestion. Why? If we have a look, they are using other delimiters. So if we select them, we will add them to the from delimiter list. So the from delimiter list is a list of delimiters that you want to change into the to delimiter. So here, all these single quote, double quote, and those special quotes will be replaced into French quote. We close that, and now, as you can see, all empty suggestions are using French quotes. So you see, you can really adapt plenty of things. For example, if you are translating it to Canadian French or European French, there is a space or not a space before an exclamation mark or interrogation mark at the end of the sentence. You can decide to adapt that and save that to file. So when you're working for a local client, you will use one configuration, and for a Canadian one, will use another configuration. So that's very powerful. So thank you. You can try Wordscope for free on https://pro.wordscope.com. Very important, we have a special offer. You will get 40% off for life on our subscription with the code AI Summit 2025, all uppercase letter, but redeem it before November 20. Thank you so much and enjoy the summit.